A few days ago, Canada and China reached a very significant trade agreement. Prime Minister of Canada Mark Carney and Chinese President Xi Jinping met and essentially reached an agreement that is super favorable to China. And well, it's not good news for America if you were hoping for China to not pass America as the world's number one economic country and country with the most leverage in the world. So, in this deal, Canada is going to allow up to 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles to be sold at their markets with a tariff of just 6.1%. This is way down from that 100% tariff, which was imposed in 2024 at our request. So, Canada did a tariff on China that we requested. They basically just removed that entire tariff. And along with that, a lot of canola oil products are getting their tariffs significantly removed. So a lot of oil that has been transported from China, canola oil, is going to become much cheaper and much more accessible. So, in other words, China now has a very favorable footing in the Canadian market and basically a much more favorable footing in the North American market overall. Now, here's the thing, as a whole, this trade deal is probably not going to do many Canadian workers a lot of favors in the long run. A lot of jobs might get exported and outsourced. But here's the problem with this, despite all of these issues and the fact that I don't think this was I don't support this deal that Mark Carney did. This is 100% Donald Trump's fault. And this is just further proof that his tariff trade war, he lost it immediately, and it's only been self destructive to the United States. And not only that, I 100% think now that by Canada doing this kind of favorable trade with our number one economic competitor, this is just clear that we may have irreparably harmed our relationship with Canada, and it was basically for no reason. Literally for no reason. Trump automatically took office threatening blanket tariffs on China for what he called them not helping us with fentanyl and them trafficking fentanyl into the country. That was not true. Along with that, he gave Canada a bigger tariff than China. Again, China's the enemy, Canada is the ally by more than double, almost triple. And on top of that, Donald Trump, whether or not it's a joke, has been alluding to how much he wants Canada to become the 51st state or just to join the United States, which I'm sorry, but if you're Canadian and you're hearing that, yeah, I wouldn't blame anyone there for thinking this guy wants to fucking invade our country and basically, well, make us another country, basically. He wants to annex Canada. Regardless of whether or not Trump is joking or not, this is something he was saying for so long. And I got comedy the first time Trump said it, but he said it over and over again to the point where he just comes across like he's just bullying Canada for no reason. And then again, the tariffs and just making all these insane pledges. And there's a lot of stuff he's been doing recently that just makes zero sense. Trying to get Greenland, but that's of course another story. The problem with this again is if Donald Trump wanted to compete with China, and if he wanted to help make more favorable trade to the U.S., there was a way to do it, but he immediately sabotaged it by attacking Canada and the EU more than he was going after China, which makes little to no sense because all he did was now damage our relationship with Canada. Canadian tourism into the US is down, but honestly, I don't really care too much about tourism as a metric. Um, what I care about is how Canadians feel about the US, and they definitely are not feeling the nicest things about us because we keep threatening essentially to annex them. So he's made it clear he's not going to do favorable trade with Canada, and Well, what is Canada left to do in that situation? Well, if they feel that they're being strong armed by the US, and again, they're doing retaliatory tariffs on us, which is further damaging for them economically because those are also blanket tariffs and will hurt them. Well, they've kind of got no choice but to open up more trade with China to help them out because at the end of the day, Canada is also going to suffer in this trade war and could also be hurting worse than we are. Donald Trump basically went after Canada. He, for no reason, just attacked our neighboring country, and now they're favorably trading with China, and it might even be the case that we're just not going to be their top trading partner anymore. And our allyship, our friendliness towards each other, that could just be gone now. It really seems like it. Again, this was entirely avoidable. Is Donald Trump correct about how trade deals like NAFTA have hurt the US manufacturing economy? Sure, but Canada was never to blame for that, and they've also been hurt by both automation and job outsourcing to countries where workers are exploited more. That was something we could have worked with China and the EU with. That was something we could have done immediately. However, because the way Trump thinks, he thinks that if he did all of this, every other country would just bow down to America and they would just continue working with us and they would basically not take every crazy thing we're doing as a threat that maybe we can't work with them anymore and maybe we have to surrender and compromise with the enemy, China. And here we are now. So just a complete hit by Trump. He caused this deal by Canada that they made. They did it because America made it happen. This deal was a deal that Donald Trump created. It's his fault entirely, and if he doesn't really soon change course on trading and, realize at some point maybe this is insane what I'm doing and I should maybe uh figure another strategy to doing trade and managing it so it's more favorable to us, oh, the United States very well could be headed down in a very dark direction where other countries, well, they don't really view us as the top trader anymore. And that could be a very dark sign because we know what country's going to be rising. It's the one that now has a newfound area to do trade in favorably and borderline free in North America. So dark times perhaps could be coming.